Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. A quick update about my channel. I am getting it back. I am just waiting for them to reinstate my channel since it was terminated due to the hackers or the hijackers activity on it. So they did transfer my channel over in my hands, but it still is suspended. So they are just reinstating it, which might take a week or so. So I will have my channel back. I am so excited that I'm going to be doing a huge giveaway as soon as I come back on my main channel. This entire thing has been extremely stressful, but I've actually learned a lot about it. I learned a lot about acceptance and faith and just turning things over, and sometimes all you can do is your part, and everything else is up to it's not up to you. You can only go so far, and a lot of it is just accepting things as they are, as they come. And I really am excited to let you guys know that. I appreciate all the support from everyone in the community, from Silver Slacker, Salivate Metal, everyone that's made videos, people that has reached out to me. It's been extremely humbling, and I really do want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. So anyways, we have gold at $1,584, up $10.43 on the day. Silver, $18.28, up 8 cents. Platinum at $994, down $15.39. And palladium, down $140 at $2,338.57. I always want to say, with palladium speaking, anytime there's a huge rally like that, do not be surprised when there's a huge crash. I talk about this a lot on my channel. When something's rising that fast, it's a huge red flag indicator that there's probably going to be a crash happening. So you don't want to jump on the bandwagon while prices keep rising, or you'll get bit in the butt like people did with Bitcoin. But anyways, I just wanted to share this. I do have an interesting article from Seeking Alpha. The link will be in the description if you want to check it out. But it's talking about gold and silver lease rates still indicate a tight physical market. So anyways, I'm going to try to highlight the main parts of this article, but before we start, make sure to smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you are new, because I do post daily videos. I've been extremely busy lately, but I'm still trying to get my videos in on a daily manner so you guys can get updated on a day-to-day basis what's going on in the world of precious metals. But anyways, the current inversion in gold and silver lease rates are incredibly bullish in the long term. Physical shortages of gold and silver could develop quickly in a financial market panic situation, which I've mentioned several times. And the monetary metals may perform as the best hedge against central bank money printing and sovereign deficit spending of the next decade. So in this article, I focus on the inverted implied lease rate situation, signaling an ongoing deficit in the physical supply almost daily for years running in gold and silver. And this has been happening over the last 7 years. 7 years. Mexico, Peru, Chile, Australia, China, some of the biggest producers of precious metals for silver production, for supplying the market, for supplying the globe for the everyday needs, the technological and industrial needs, have been abandoning silver mines, have been cutting back production by the hundreds of millions of ounces. And this is something that's not new. I've made several videos about it, but I was always talking about the consequences that are going to be happening from that. And we are now starting to see what these consequences are they're washing over. So essentially, large physical supply is getting harder and harder to find for hedge funds, banks, central banks, and brokerage dealers, performing as the base money to discount against all paper currencies for thousands of years. Money center banks and brokerages buy, sell, and lend gold, silver for their accounts to hedge currency risk. They often lend out held gold and silver in the paper markets as contracts and futures, collecting a yield rate of return for doing so. So I've harped on this point for several years running. The pricing of futures and spot price indicate meaningful short-term supplies of gold and silver remain difficult to find, partly a result of central bank demand. partly caused by rising investor demand from negative sovereign interest rates and concern about what's next for bond markets, partly caused by the peak gold and silver mining production, and partly an issue of those holding precious metal supply being a strong hand owners are not willing to sell for small profit. The gold and silver marketplaces have been characterized by a growing imbalance between demand and supply. I have argued for many years that the long-term supply and demand setup in gold and silver could eventually lead to actual shortages in supply versus demand, which I've mentioned. We actually see industries paying premiums on silver bullion because they know that there's a shortage. We're not talking about the shortage of American Eagles that happen. No, we're talking about a much bigger scale, a much larger picture here. So this is interesting, and I like how he says the long-term supply and demand setup in gold and silver could eventually lead to actual shortages in supply versus demand. Shortages in the palladium and rhodium markets are today real-world events, which that's why we saw palladium so high. And they're used for the catalytic converters, which were replaced from platinum. So you can see the 2-year charts below. What happens to prices in precious metals when honest shortages of supply appear? Rhodium is up better than 400%, and palladium is up 110%. So several years ago, I talked about the $2,000 high gold on Seeking Alpha. Not many investors paid attention. However, as 2019 unfolded with strong gains for the precious metals across the board, Wall Street started to take heed. If future supply and demand imbalances develop in the main precious metals of gold, silver, and platinum, materially higher prices are coming soon. Are you properly prepared? So it's interesting to think about. Readers can review my November and December articles in the season low period for gold and silver, the plus potential once in a lifetime buy in platinum a month ago. So now it's going on to gold lease rates. You can review the charts on the charts below, short-term lease rates, which have been higher than long-term ones for years running. This inverted yield curve situation is similar to a U.S. Treasury yield curve inversion, screaming an imbalance or shortage of the short-term capital exists versus long-term lending rate expectations. If high money rates to find capital to lend is a problem for the bond market, what does a yield curve inversion in precious metals leasing rates mean? Since gold and silver are historically used in the basic currency for all fiat currency, the 2018-2020 inversion without a doubt means that physical supplies are incredibly tight. Rarely, only about 10% of the time, the last 30 years have short durations have been higher than long-term ones. That's 2-3 years have included every instance of this rarity. And we're talking about $50 silver in the 80s, $50 silver in 2011. I mean, silver's been $50 twice in the last 30 years. But he even goes on to say, in the latest 2 to 3 years have included most every instance of this rarity. The red line below represents 2-month rates. Compare its fluctuations to the 12-month black line rate on graphs over various time periods over the last decades of trading. Exaggerated differences mean short-term physical supply is quite difficult to find for major dealers and banks. And look how many exaggerated lines there are. So this isn't a theory, this isn't a myth anymore. This isn't some conspiracy. This is real. Silver shortages are really happening, and miners are not seeking it because it's not profitable for them anymore. Because they're chasing the dollar, they're chasing the paper, and the consequences that come from it, they don't care about. The producers are going to be turning into the consumers, and the consumers are going to be turning into the producers. The people like you and I that stack silver will be the ones that have the power, that have the real wealth, because we are going to be the ones that are able to sell it. So silver lease rates. Silver lease rates are trading like a fashion to gold. In fact, its inversion the last 24 months is even more rare on a long-term basis, and the spike in rates overall during the early 2019 was the biggest in decades. In past instances, a spike in rates, not necessarily an inversion, would occur right around major bottoms in price. The inversion in the gold and silver yield curve is incredibly bullish and has coincided with the rising precious metal pricing since the important September 2018 low. So, this is going on to what you hold in your portfolio, and I'm not going to go into this, but I try to keep my videos at a timely manner. If you guys do want to check that out, I highly recommend it. Yeah, I try to highlight the main parts, and this was talking about the lease rates, the supply and demand, and also where silver could be bullish. So, if you want to check out, he goes on to even mention his final thoughts. It's a good article. It's a very well written article. I like how he brings the chart analysis, the standpoint from it as well, and backs it with evidence, and it's actually some good insight and knowledge. So anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to smash the like button. Also, make sure to stay tuned for my main channel coming back. I'm going to come back stronger than ever. Stronger than ever. I already have some amazing ideas coming up. I am so excited to get back on my main channel. I cannot thank you guys enough for sticking by me. All the people that swung over, that were subscribed to my main channel, that came over here and supported me over here, as I couldn't stop making videos. I couldn't just give up. It crossed my mind once, but then I thought about all the people that I would be letting down, and you guys really have pushed me through this, and this is my passion. This is what I love to do. Even though this channel has a small fraction of the amount of subscribers and viewers that my main channel does, it still feels good that you guys are supporting me, and I cannot thank you guys and gals enough. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys soon. Peace.